program tonight. So it's a heavy-ish deadlift session. Got 6 plates on the bar, so what's that? 260 kilos. I'm going to do this for a quick single, double, just get a little feel of it. Go up to 300, and then I'll assess from 300. When you're deadlifting, if you haven't got a deadlift jack, shove a little plate under it and then roll it under. Saves you a lot of effort. Kind of want you to get an idea of the pace I move at as well. This will be the last one I do without lifting straps. I find it almost supercharges me, so I make the lighter stuff sort of as disadvantageous as possible. I make it awkward for myself, and then as I go up, I start adding on little bits and pieces that will help me out a little bit. I'm going to use over-under grip, which is, I find, the strongest like raw grip. I've got my liquid chalk on already, so I'm just going to get a single with this, see how it feels. Then I might go 320, I might go 340. We'll see. Felt pretty heavy in the hand. I'm going to go 320. Go 320. To be honest with you guys, I've been slacking on my deadlifting recently, relatively speaking. I haven't actually pulled more than 300 for a few weeks. I think the last heavy deficit deadlift I did, I think that was the last heavy one I got, was 380 deficits. It's quite a few weeks ago. I've kind of backed off a little bit since then. The long-term goal was 400 kilos on a deficit, but age catches up on you. And it wasn't too bad, not been too bad, but I've been having a little bit of sciatica and stuff. So I'm not competing, I'm just a big guy in my backyard. So. Right. lifting straps. Straps really helped. I'm going to go 340. I'm going to cut off at 340. Such a mishmash of different plates in my gym. Some rubber, I've got some metal, I've got metal of different sizes. Because I bought the majority of my equipment during COVID and around COVID times, and you just had to get what you could get. So I've got different plates of slightly different sizes, different metal ones. I've got some, I don't know if you guys can see at the back, I've got some other metal ones there that actually have galvanized. I've got a load of bumper plates. I've got some 25 bumper plates outside. I've got so many. But, you know, weight's weight. Okay, top set. Okay. 340. I think that was 8. Not bad. Not bad. Deadlifts are my strongest exercise. I'm okay all round, but deadlifts are my strongest exercise. Got these long arms, so when I lock out, you can see where my knee is. It's where my hands are. It's just above my knee, so. Oi. Okay, that's deadlifting done. I'm going to move on to a row of some kind or another, and then call it a day. Okay, moved on. Decided to do some pen lay rows. Gonna get first work set with, well, it's not a work set. I'm gonna do a warm up with 100. I'll go 140, 180. See how it goes. I'm just gonna literally just do a couple of reps here, just to kind of get a feel of it. Wake my body up, acclimatise to the movements, and then put some weight on. Explosive. Really teaches you how to brace and kind of maintain your posture when you deadlift, but also just teaches you kind of how to explode and move quite quickly. I'm not, when it comes to deadlift, I'm not actually a very explosive deadlifter. I prefer to kind of feel the tension and then go. I kind of get the tension and then kind of squeeze. Well, not squeeze, but you know what I mean. It works for me. It works for me. But these are, as I said, really kind of just concentrate on dragging the bar off the ground as quick as possible. That was fast. Yeah, I'm going to go to 180. So with these warm-ups, as I said, I'm just going through the motions. I'm going to do my best to expend as little energy as possible. 180, 100, and then I'll see what the 180 feels like. Where's my butler when I need it? Okay, got 180 on the bar. See how this moves. Here's 180. I'm gonna go 200. I'm just experimenting with the video format at the moment. A lot of the time I edit them and kind of put them to some kind of nice chilled peaceful music. But a few weeks ago I did some more sort of like raw cuts ones. So I'm just trying these to be a little bit more raw cuts. Saves me a bit of editing time as well. I know I'm only going to get about 50 views anyway. But thank you to those of you who do take the time to tune in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Really helps me out. Even if you do comment and just put an emoji, it helps the algorithm, it wakes it up. It shows YouTube that some people out there quite enjoy little channels like mine. Drama free. I just lift weights and have a chat. Unfortunately, that's not what fitness YouTube is all about nowadays. Alright, 200 kilos top set. that's the end of that then. The good thing about this is it'll be very easy for me to edit. Yeah, so as I said, I'm just trying different video format style. I did this a few weeks ago where I did it's not going to be quite unedited completely, but it'll be a relatively raw cut. So you guys kind of get an idea of the pace that I move at. Because even with relatively big weights, I move at a reasonable pace. So worked up to 340 kilos for my top sets today, which I managed to get 8 with, which was pretty good, considering I haven't pulled more than 300 kilos for quite a few weeks. As I said to you, my long-term goal, I was focusing on the deficit deadlift, and my goal was 400 kilos, just because I've never pulled 400 kilos in a deficit before. And the strain that conventional deadlifts put on your body when you're kind of working up to that 400 kilos plus, it's pretty hard going on your body. I deadlift with a lifting belt, not even a powerlifting belt, just a regular gym belt and some figure of 8 lifting straps. And I'm 46. So recovery can be pretty tough. So at the moment, the idea of working back up to that 400 kilo plus doesn't really appeal to me. It's my body. I'm just getting older, and you just get a bit beat up. So don't get me wrong, I'm sure I'll get bitten by the bug within the next month or two. I always do. But at the moment, that kind of 420, 440 and all those kind of ridiculous numbers aren't really appealing to me. So that's why I was focusing quite a lot of my energy on the deficit deadlift. But in the process of putting quite a lot of energy into the deficit deadlift, just the aches and pains and niggles come along the way they do. So I had to go back into maintenance mode. Nothing major. I've said to you guys before, I've got a permanent bulging disc, which I've had for many, many years. I was told in my early 30s by my GP, my doctor, that I would have to have spinal fusion surgery when I'm older, and I was told to stop lifting and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, here I am 16 odd years later, pulling decent numbers. So my advice is sometimes don't listen to other people trying to stop you what you want to do. But I was an idiot when I was younger. The reason I'm saying this is because I know I've got quite a few new subscribers just jumped on the channel, which is great. I was up to 921, I think, when I last looked, which is absolutely fantastic. So something's going on. So yeah, I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of my backstory. So I've been, you know, training 30 odd years. In my first few years, I was the original ego lifter. There was no ego lifting before I came along, and then dictionary definition of ego lifting, you'd have seen a picture of me when I was younger. I just used to lift because I loved it, and I was big, and I was strong, and I was young, and I was full of testosterone and bravado and nonsense. But in the process of doing so, I ended up slipping a disc. And over the years, I've slipped a disc several times to the point now where I have a permanent bulging disc. So I live with permanent sciatica. Sometimes it's okay. I always have it. But, you know, a lot of time you just live with it. I don't really notice it. It'll feel like a little bit of a tingle. And then other times when the sort of disc moves around a little bit, it can become absolutely agonizing. And I was having a couple of those niggles. It wasn't becoming agonizing, but I was having a couple of those niggles as I'd started to push the deficit deadlifts. And I was like, I don't really fancy my disc blowing out again. So I backed off, relatively speaking, for a few weeks. And as I said, I've still been deadlifting. I've pulled 300 kilos a couple of times, just to kind of maintain a base of strength. But my back has felt okay for the last week or so. It's not felt too bad. I did a farmer's walk, was it last week? I think I uploaded it earlier on this week or last week. I can't even remember. I train so much, it all blends into one. I did a very heavy farmer's walk using the trap bar, and I had to pick up and walk with 16 kilos, I think it was. But in the process of doing so, don't get me wrong, I got a few tingles and a little bit of sciatica afterwards. But it gave me a bit of confidence in, okay, yeah, my back strength is kind of coming back, because I was able to pick that weight up. I know it was a high handle trap bar, but I was able to pick that up and walk with it for around 20 to 25 meters. So my back strength is obviously there. So I just thought, you know what, go back to what you love doing, deadlifting. Deadlifting is probably my favorite exercise. I do love deadlifting. I was born to deadlift. You guys can see these ridiculously long, you can see there, my arms are ridiculously long. And I've got extremely big hands. So I was just born to deadlift. My dimensions were made to deadlift. So gone back to my favorite exercise, and just had a little feel of it. So today, 340, felt nice. It felt cool. I was relatively smart for me, and I went to 300, and then rather than going straight to 340, I actually did 320. I always try to go up to 300, or as long as my hands will hold out. I try to go up to 300 without using lifting straps, because as soon as you throw on the figure of 8 lifting straps, life becomes so much easier. So this, even though I was putting on a bit of extra weight, it just doesn't feel too bad. And you're always as strong as your weakest link, I find, and I'm sure you guys will find too. And your grip, even though I've got a decent grip, I've got a pretty strong grip, your grip will never, ever, ever be as strong as your back or your traps or whatever. So unless you're competing in powerlifting or whatever, do not be afraid to throw on some lifting straps for your top sets. In your warm-ups, use your grip. Definitely use your grip. But when it comes to your top sets, I could maybe, well, to be fair, I have held 340 on an axle for like a single, but then it just peels out of your hand. So I threw on a figure of 8 lifting straps, and I got 8. It slowed down after about 4 or 5 reps, just because I haven't moved 340 for a few weeks. But it felt fine, and I just thought rather than doing a set of 5, I would see where I was. And 340 for 8 is a good starting point. It's a good starting point. I know that means I can pull 380. I can definitely pull 380, judging by that, for a few reps. So I'll get back up to that over the next few weeks, and then who knows, I might start back on the deficits again. Well, I hope you enjoyed the slightly rawer format. As I said, it's going to be a little bit easier for me to edit, because there won't be too much for me to actually do. And hopefully you kind of got a feel of the pace I move at, and, you know, the actual, what it's like actually being in my little home gym. So, cool. Right, do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit notifications, check your feed as well, because I have been uploading very regularly. If you haven't seen any videos from me for a few days, that's because YouTube hates me. I have been uploading, so just check out the channel, go back and see if you can give your boy a view. It really does help. I know a few of you recently, and I do appreciate it, have kind of said some very kind words of support for my little channel. Because, you know, big channels, they just provide different content in fitness to what I provide. And it seems like the algorithm doesn't like my type of content, particularly because, as I said, I just lift stuff and have a chat and answer questions and whatever. And that type of channel, or my type of channel, isn't really popular nowadays, it seems, because everyone's into the drama and the gossip and the fancy editing and, you know, the funk music, all that kind of stuff. Oh, the kids these days. But, you know, I keep on slugging away. But anyway, thank you to those of you who've shown your support and passed on your kind words. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep on slugging away. I know I'm not taking over the fitness industry. That's not the plan by any means. I'm a chilled, low-key guy. I do this as a bit of a passion project. You know, I'm a primary school teacher. I'm a dad. I'm a personal trainer. And I do this on the side for a little bit of fun. And as I said, the people who are on my channel, like you guys in the comments, you're a really cool bunch. So thank you once again. Anyway, I'll say it one more time. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit notifications, all that good stuff. You guys take care, and I will speak to you soon.